No,
Natarajan.
it was excellent. It was
Yeah,
excellent.
actually, but my name is actually dangerous. Nagarajan means King Cobra.
Oh,
King
King
Cobra.
Cobra.
Ah.
Uh,
But I am not. I am a converted reptilian. I am a
yeah.
reptilian. Knew you. Just for fun, I am telling.
I get it. It's excellent, young man. Thank you so much. Yes. Please speak up anytime because, again, it's.
Yeah. The thing. Whenever I think of you, you are a real support to me. Actually, I can feel your presence. Actually, I don't have to dream. Also, I feel to my wife also. She doesn't know that much English, but I always tell about you. You want this? You see this guy in Tamil. I used to tell him every day he is making one Facebook group. So I tell my people, Tamil people also, you should follow him actually. Every day he is opening a Facebook group. Every day he is hosting a Skype conference. If at all we want to revive the original Tamil tradition, the new tradition, we have to follow Duane. Amazing. And your voice is also so clear. No, your English now I can completely understand because you are slow. Your pronunciation is so clear. Your videos and audios I can clearly understand. As an Indian, we have difficulty. The accent is purely foreign. No? We can't understand English actually. Actually, I'm speaking in Indian English actually. I'm not comfortable with English that much, even though I am very well versed in English. But I am comfortable in Tamil. But because of you, I have picked up English also. Thank you, Duane. I hope I am not boring you.
Not at all, young man. Thank you for
Yeah.
showing up. Yes, because I see that people, as the witnesses, we all become witnesses for each other. But
Yeah.
presenting this, it's hard for the real guides too, and we see the struggle of the world, and this is
Yeah.
actually why we're doing more than just this. Also, working on a galactic scale through all of creation that.
Yeah.
It's not really known yet, but that's part of the adventure. I've decided to take this on, so it's terrific that you stepped up and shared this. This is so cool. So this,
When I read your book, no, in one of your books, you are telling that you are trying to commit a suicide by driving a truck. You remember? You are trying to commit a suicide between the 2001 and 2007 when you had a terrific challenge, when you gave up that rod of power till it became new abyss. You had some problems, no? You have to really descend into hell actually. So actually, those things actually resonated with me. I also had some. I also tried to commit suicide and all, but by the grace of all is, by the grace of real guides, I am living and you are also living, and you are the new man, new is. What great! So because that is why you are living, because you are supporting life. When you support life, life will support you. That is what the core of your message. No? That is what we should do actually. Core of your message is every moment, continuously, without fails, try to support life in whatever way possible, so that life will support you. So that is a choice. Now, by supporting life, you are making choice that you are in line with life. All life is all is, whatever those real references.
Yeah, doing that was it's a long lecture. I'm sure you heard the part that I uh, I narrated about how Nagarajan found out about he got to know about the new sound. It was revealed to him by he was guided by Kabidas uh, to seek you out and actually told him what the new sound meant. The new, and then the new you, and then the you. So I really found it intriguing. You see, the new sound is not a figment of the imagination, as some of the corporation members at first thought. It was that the new sound was just a derivation. It was just derived from the hue. Yeah, but you see Natarajan really has thrown some breath of fresh air there, and says how he was guided by a saint to find you. Yeah, so that's what really resonated with me, because it's very people can take it for granted that they just know the new sound. Oh, I'm talking with Duane. Is that not Duane? I'm reading his books. We talk every day and so it sounds like something very common, something you're very close to it, but it seems it's not important, or it's not convincing, just because you know the person, just because you have easy access to him and all the like. You see, just
Okay.
imagine,
Charles,
like
can I interrupt, Charles?
Yeah.
Yeah, this the new is the actually the new, which can also be pronounced as new. New is the essential name, Sarna. This sound light of reality, according to Sanskrit, has two names actually. One is the essential name, other is the true name. Sarnam and Satnam. This you is Satnam. So the Nu is Sarnam. Without Sarnam and Satnam, without the essential name and the true name, you can't have access to all this actually. Actually, this is what this in Sanskrit what happened. The Sarnam they are not revealing actually. They will only reveal the Satnam, only true name. That is also different from sect to sect, and they keep it very secret. But through Duane, in a no nonsense fashion, it has been revealed as one package: the Satnam, the essential name, and the true name. So we should never take light of Nu You sound, because it is the real reference to the sound light of all is actually. By singing Nu you are activating the sound light of all is. Isn't it amazing? People will not believe it actually, because people have been accustomed to these initiations and all these complexities, these gurus, masters, and all this old nonsense. They can't agree. They can't digest that by singing Nu you can have direct access to the first source. That is unfortunate actually. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, okay. That was what it. So Duane, what he's saying is that you've cut the ground from under the feet of the masters and gurus, and brought everything to broad daylight, and given the new sound to all life, and so everyone has access to the true reality life is, because of your the risk you have taken to bring everything to make everything so common and so generous with it, unlike the gurus and masters of the Eastern world who hoard everything, and it is only through initiations and oaths of secrecy that you are given any word or sound that can connect you with the sound like reality. So thank you very much, Natarajan. During the Skype meetings, I often have a lot to say. Today, Duane has had some connection problems, but I have something more to say. So, Duane, what I'll talk about now concerns Africa. I watched a video where a South African charismatic pastor, he allegedly woke up somebody from death. So in front of hundreds of congregants, he questioned those who had brought the dead man into the church, into the place of worship. So they told him that the corpse had been removed from the mortuary, and then bathed and then dressed in the white suit that he was wearing, and then put in the casket. So they brought the dead man into church. So the pastor started his gymnastics, praying, gesticulating, and uttering all kinds of incantations. And so he told the man, I actually watched the video, he told the dead man, rise up. And then the dead man rose from the dead. I was skeptical when I looked at everything happening. Okay, but this miracle that this pastor had performed was actually a staged event, because the mortuary attendants testified that they had no record of such a corpse, and the 3 funeral companies sued the pastor for damage to their reputation, because he had sort of impacted their business negatively. So you see, this kind of thing is taking place all across Africa, where people are looking for miracles until the pastors know that, and in order to attract more people, this pastor even staged a miracle. It was all foreplanned, and when they brought the man into the church, in the casket, lying there, supposedly dead, then he told him, rise up. After his incantations and gesticulations, the man woke up. So the thing is all over the place. So what I want to ask Duane is, what message can you give to Africans who so much believe in these miracles from pastors? And these pastors, you will not believe, they get their powers from mermaid spirits, to be able to speak in tongues, to be able to prophesy, to heal and do other things which are considered wonders by the deluded, and all that in a bid to fill their churches and have a reputation and make money. So what message, Duane? You're the new man, and the whole of Africa should hear you. What do you have to say about this kind of miracles that Africans are into, Duane?
No, I would say in the beginning of this, it was meant to be. It's great. Thank you, Natarajan, that you said all you did, because it's so cool. Others hear you, and this is the fun adventure we're having. It's just simply sharing this with others and who will listen, and this is how life is. We're all going through everything, and yes, what is happening in Africa? You know Africa, Charles. It's nothing new. It's the same old stuff, but it's understandable, but it's not necessary, but still, and you're absolutely right, it's a business, so they're going to do tricks and marketing ploy for business, aren't they? So while you were speaking there, I was kind of wondering, gee, is this one of Harry's friends, Harry Houdini Klemp, that's always on stage talking? So again, yeah, it's really paying attention to what is now. It's not about me or anything such as the personal self. I'm just having my adventure with this and presenting it. This is my love affair with life and really supporting life realistically. And the way you do that is consciously. You consciously become aware of what it is, more so than the ideas that have been created in creation about things, gods, saviors, masters, whatever. And we've went through these things, and it's fine. But it's time for this. It's time to show up something real that makes sense. And yes, the reason that there's so much resistance, again, is because this is a business world, and people have their followers, they have their supporters, etc. And they don't want their business disrupted is basically it. And so, and that's understandable too. Again, everybody has free will. So personally, I'm fine with everything. It's an adventure. And so, but I appreciate those that step up and have the courage to do so, because the systems are going to be what they are. And yes, people have been taught to look for miracles, and we're in the tech age. All this stuff is really a miracle. You have cell phones, you have Skype, you have whatever out there, you have television, you have all these antics. And really, do the birds in nature need technology? No, they really don't. But we've come around to agreeing with this, and we're all learning that there is something else, but got to figure it out. So a step at a time here, because the journey with the all is a big one, to recognize this and to stand real with it and continually see it every moment now. And so there is a now about life, but really more so than that, I see for myself better describes its isness. When you really focus on the idea and the reference of isness, it becomes more than that. It is the reality life is, and you decide how you're going to recognize this. So, well, again, you know the tricks that Africa does, and they do them here in the United States too. They're very well at it. So it's just a different marketing ploy. It's all the same, really. It just appears different. But this is the world today, and it is a challenge. And I really have a real consideration for people that are struggling. I see that they are, and everybody wants to find something real, but they keep chasing the ideas created by others that are distortions. So to bring this about, yes, it is a huge challenge, but I like the challenge myself. I like the adventure and the challenge. That's part of it. And yes, there are no secrets in life. We went through the secret stuff. Oh, we have this secret for you, and we have this secret and whatever. And, realistically, like the sun shining, there are no secrets. Just simply learn to recognize it, make sense of it, step up, and do something. What will you do? So that's the fun part, really. When you start to get past and you decide to get past this personal self and a personal life, because there is no la la land here, which I've said many times. It's not a place to nest. It's just a process we're going through. But for many people, they've been caught up in it still, and the business world is very important to him. So here's this guy, and he's one of them that got caught. Joni and Harry, they're caught, but it hasn't come around to the physical sense yet with many. So But unfortunately, many of the members are tap line. They're all tap line, getting cancers, etc. That's where it becomes worse. You know, you can do a little funny stuff in business, but when it really affects people, and then they go to the real side and they're so lost that they don't even know where they're at. Yeah, and that's very real too. So yes, yes, Charles. So I don't know what to say. It's business as usual, isn't it? So it is a challenge, Charles, but we only have so much time because the world is not waiting. It's only getting worse. That's very real. So yeah, it's time to step up, because what comes first, your personal life or doing something real here, because this will pass very fast. So let's see what happens. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Duane. This brings me to the message of the wonderful worldwide educators and the new presentation and its place in Africa. When I see the churches full and some even collapse due to overcrowding and some people die, in fact, my heart bleeds. And I think the new presentation should have some targeted messages for these people caught in this church trap of worship and praying and miracle seeking. However, I've realized that maybe our messages are not well crafted for Africa. We seem to speak in blanket terms without particular emphasis on certain things that have entrapped these people. And take for instance, we want to do some activities in Africa, maybe carry out some projects wherever and whenever possible. I want to think that maybe our message will be lost, as most people would just think these are people, these are some environmentalists who have come around, these are some social reformers, and our thrust will actually be diluted by these activities. I'm not by this pitch saying that we should do nothing, but I want to think that the single most important message to give to people anywhere who have been caught in this mesh of creation is that word, that mantra, that song that can liberate them from the mire in which they have been caught for millennia. And I think we should concentrate on this more to the best of our abilities. And I consider this the true gift, the real gift to give to the oppressed. And this gift will impact them physically, psychically, and let me say spiritually. So I look at the new song as the most important thing that can be given to anybody. We have known it, and maybe we could just take it now for granted because we know it. But there are many people struggling out there. Even, in fact, when I look at so many people around me, I was just chatting with my sister. She was telling me about, even advising me to consult a certain prophet. She called Bushiru or something like that. I just told her, my younger sister, I told her that I'm a prophet myself. And she was so shocked. I said, yes, I'm a prophet. And she said, oh, that's very good, because you have become a good follower of Christ, and the Holy Spirit has descended on you, and now you are a prophet. I just love. I just wrote her a short epistle, and she's so shocked. She said, "Well, she's just in creation and worshiping the gods in creation." But our conversation was stopped short because of the Skype meeting. So, Duane, I want to think that the single most important thing to give to anybody, anywhere on earth, is the new song and the new message. And this is what will work wonders in people's lives. Step up awareness, step up, let me use the word consciousness of about many things around them. And it would take people to greater heights, even without telling them to do any other thing. Because I think the new man's mission here is to teach, to bring this mantra, this song to humanity, and teach them how to sing it, and to be liberated from creation altogether. So what do you say, Duane?
Well, that's a lot, Charles. But okay, so again, the idea here is that you might say we're covering all bases, and that is that you can present that to the world, which we're doing a whole lot, and on many fronts you're getting resistance from that, and which was just shared here, etc. So, and the corporation and others like that, they don't want to hear it. They want their own, they want their hue, they want their amen, etc. So as we keep doing it, so it's not really, but it's kind of a sneaky way to bring around it, the all-natural environment, etc. And that word itself, all-natural, that ties in its own way. There's many ways to reference and tie in to the isness. And that's just one of them, because I've made that a specific. So whatever ones I make specific, that ties in. It's not just talking about the environment, it's everything. So the all-natural environment is all life. It's the isness. Life is. It's just it shows up. It appears a different way with different letters. That's all. But the reference is the same. There's no difference. So, but you see, like anything, even when you give people the new you, doesn't mean they're going to see it. See, it's really seeing it. It's really recognizing it. So there's many ways to do that. This is the fun part. So this is where you're creative. So, for Africa, like I've spoken with you many times before, you and Miriam, etc., because that's why the boys chose you. You represent Africa. I see that. And so you decide when you're going to interpret what is presented here to Africa in a particular way that Africa can better understand. There's no perfect way to do this. And so just like all of us, I remember when I was first in the corporation with Paul, I decided to interpret what he was presenting as I went out there into the public and started doing public lectures and whatever. I was to interpret that, you see? And so again, it's not waiting for me to do it. I'm giving, the generalities, the generalization of what is going on here. And each person in each place, even with themselves, they decide how they're going to interpret it for themselves. And so, the basic idea is there. So it's just like when you go to the store and you buy all those groceries, you buy the lettuce and the celery and the onions and whatever else you buy, the eggs, what have you. And, that's the generalization. And when you go home, you decide how you're going to cut it up, mix it, or whatever, or prepare it, we'll say. Okay, see, that becomes your interpretation of what you collected. And the same way with this. So this is why I write so many Skype groups and whatever. These are like little messages out there. They're hints out there for each person not to start something new and make it kind of funny and add funny things to it, but learn to see and recognize the simplicity of it and then apply it accordingly. This is where your adventure comes in. You apply it accordingly to you and how you want to present it to the world. But yes, the basic idea is the new you, but you have to kind of bring it around. And so just like the new you has always been here, but we had to go through a lot of process first to finally get there for it to become so. And so this is going through the corporation and what Paul brought too. He brought the first part. So Paul used what was available. He just put it together and made a little more sense of it, but he was still the babysitter at the time. And so he used all these things, the God idea, the hue, etc. And so that was a preparation for this, you see? And so you have to see it that way because, again, you can't just give it direct. You can't feed a child, a baby at 6 months. You can't feed him, baked potato and chili, or whatever, or big salad. No, you have to break it down to where it's like, it's like soup almost, baby food. And so we start off like that, but very rapidly the child grows, doesn't it? You see? And so the same with this. This is the part I like. Okay, so from my days in the corporation, good, bad, or indifferent, it's all fine. To now, I look to what I've been through and what I do up to this moment, and that is that now it's like we have a gigantic garden with so much more variety, and all of it implies the same thing. It's just how you see it. You see. So it's just not one thing, because people, are multitasked today. There are many things that they're involved in, etc. So each person's going to decide how they're going to bring it together and focus, you see? So again, what's happening in Africa, years ago, I wrote those courses, Charles. I don't hear about them anymore at all. I wrote those courses just for you and etc. So again, there it is. You utilize it. You're the interpreter for Africa. Okay, I've given the whole thing. So now I'm also working on a galactic scale with other planets and other aliens and whatever. And boy, that's a challenge, but I really like it. And this is going to be a very interesting experience here. Etc. as this unfolds, and the boys are there doing everything we can to bring it forward, because there's a lot more going on than just the earth here, okay, because all of creation has a lot of situations that are very dastardly, that are not good, that are very dark and have been destroyed, just like the other planets we see here. So the earth is not the only one. So it's getting beyond ourselves more so than just this business world. So, but each person decides to step up. When people step up, it's like, well, what will you do? Will you take this on? I remember when one of the Asians came on years ago that Ava knew, and the second Skype meeting, he said, I'll translate the books. So I was kind of taken back. I was a little bit shocked, but he did 2 of them, and they came out great. He did the business plan. You see, who else will take the time to do that? It's not for me. It's for everyone. So this is the adventure. So each person decides who will do that, who will step up, who will do something. We've had these African Skypes for years now. And again, Ava and I designed the T-shirt logo. Start off very simply with the baby food. It's right there, right on the T-shirt, all natural environment. That implies the is. And a step at a time, they'll learn about the worldwide educators, and they'll learn about the new you when they're ready, you see? But you can't force feed them. So that's the idea. But each person decides wherever they're at to take on this adventure and challenge. But for most people, their personal life is more important. It's like, well, I don't have time. I got to work. I got to do this. Okay, fine. Guess what? You're just growing older. And the business life is, it can't decide for you. Yes, you can know about it, but guess what? You got to do it. You got to do it 100%. So this is the opportunity like never before, but you really got to see it. So each person decides how they're going to interpret what is presented. Again, this is a presentation. It is not an absolute. There's no such thing in creation. It is a reference. It is not sacred writings or a doctrine or a teaching. It is none of these things. It's just very upfront. It's a real reference to this true reality. That's the best part. It's clean and real.